Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Ripple Effect podcast. This is episode number 4, and we're glad that you are with us here today. Today's episode is sponsored by something very special this week, and what that is it's sponsored by Space Heaters. Listen, these things are lifesavers for us. We are grateful that we have heat in this building, but when they built this building back in 2005,
I think.
insulation in the walls was not the highest priority. So in our offices, it is very cold, and we're grateful for space heaters.
The windows are the worst part, and his office has like all windows.
It's so cold. So we're grateful for space heaters, and we're grateful for the heat they provide, and we hope in this cold weather you stay warm. There you go. Welcome to the podcast. I am joined by Brian Sevitz. Brian, say hello.
Hey.
And today we have a special guest with us. We have Adam in the studio. Adam, say hello.
Hello.
And we'll get to him in a minute. Don't worry about that. And we'll get right to reviewing the week. So this week we got to do the State of the Church address, and it was a fun Sunday. It was a good Sunday. Adam, were you walking around with the camera?
Yes, I was.
You were walking around with the camera. We're going to talk about that this week. Brian, how'd you feel this Sunday went? Anything jump out at you?
I thought it went well. I was excited about Sunday because of some of the stuff we've talked about ever since October. It was one of those weeks that actually felt like we didn't have any huge tech glitches or anything Sunday morning to put me in a bad mood.
Knock on wood. Yeah.
That was good. But yeah, I would obviously everything we're talking about with this series is challenging for us, or maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but you know, we've cast a vision that's convicting and challenging for us, as well as we hope spurring our church onto action.
Yeah. So it's really nothing new under the sun, obviously. Our vision for this year and our focus is going to be Hope Lives Here, New Beginnings, with a special emphasis on discipleship. And we put a challenge out there on Sunday to think about what it could look like for 118 lives to be changed because we're intentionally sharing the hope of Jesus with those around us. And my wife and I were having a conversation about that because she said, you know, it makes me think, all right, who's my one person? And then who are my 3 other people that are going to help me with it? And it helps put it in a little bit more tangible ways. So that was the whole, focus of the State of the Church address. If you missed it, go online at tlcc.church and you can listen to the sermon. But the one challenge, like I said, that we left you with is we've had a lot of challenges in the last year. We feel like we maybe have been distracted a little bit from what our purpose and our goal is, and we want to get back to what God's called us to do, and that is to make disciples. Before we leave that, real quick, I just want to know, you don't have to say their names, but do you have an individual that you could look back and say they were discipling me and they helped me get to where I am today spiritually?
Yeah.
You think of something? Share, maybe you don't have to share details, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up in the church, so several people you could say discipled me in different ways. But one person that comes immediately to mind, and he's passed away now, but a preacher that I worked with a lot. I've talked about him in a sermon before because he mentored me in not just spiritual ways, but also like how to build a computer and a bunch of the other stuff I do today. How does networking work? And when it doesn't work, how do you troubleshoot it? All kinds of stuff like that.
So you're telling me your tech savviness comes from somewhere. It's just not innate. You weren't born with it?
Oh, well, I mean,
swear he's just born
maybe
with it.
Intuitiveness, but yeah, the laying hands on computer and it
That's
just
what
works.
he does. I don't know how he does it. Okay, but someone taught you that.
Absolutely. But going back to the spiritual part, I think just the depth of faith and my commitment to ministry, and not like the flashy parts of ministry, but like the grind of ministry came from a guy named Ken Ryder. And the minister I worked with after him, Rick Chapman, was awesome too. He gave me opportunities. But if I go back to like the roots of my faith and just being committed to the church in general, but to being with people and mentoring them comes from him.
What about you, Adam?
Well, I mean, I always grew up in church too, and so when I look back on it, my parents had a huge influence on that. I take that for granted sometimes because I know people that sometimes they don't have, you know, that growing up. And so when I look back on it, my parents were a huge influence on that. And then also, as I got older, one of my pastors back in my church where I used to live, he really got me. He's the reason I came here, and he really like was a teacher to me, and we really connected and had conversations that he got me to realize that I could have a job in the church because I never thought about that, and he really like pushed me to say like, look, you can do this as a job, and I just for whatever reason I didn't realize that until he was like, no, you can do this, and I can see that you can do this, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. So
Cool. Yeah, as we talk about the 4-to-1, I think about my life. I don't know if there was just one in particular, but I can definitely look to 3 or 4 guys that, for whatever reason, just took me under their wing and taught me music and took me on trips, and just getting to be around them and their families, and it's really cool how that can happen. So that's been our challenge, and that was what last week was all about, is how can we not only embrace following Jesus ourselves, but start being intentional about making disciples of others. So go back to tlcc.church if you missed that sermon, and catch back up on it. Okay, we are going to move now to TLCC Top 3. But before we do that, we just want to highlight... Were you going to say something about the stream, about podcasts?
I can do that with the first one.
All right, let Brian do it. Brian will take it away with the first TLCC Top 3.
Okay, the first one is about communications. So, again, I'm fudging a little bit, and we'll put a bunch of stuff in one of them. Connections, we highlighted it this week because this was the State of the Church edition, and it's got more than normal in there. And he was just talking about the website. If you're not here in person, every week the bulletin or the connections is attached to the sermon. So you go to that week's sermon, and there's always a button that says bulletin. So like this week, this would be called bulletin. You can download it, see it in PDF. So that's one thing. But the other thing I wanted to mention about communications is the church email, as well as what we're doing with this podcast each week. And so the email, if you don't receive our emails, we really encourage you to sign up for it.
Got to get on the emails.
And last-minute announcements, changes, and things.
Weather updates.
You just go to the website, tlcc.church/sign-up. So easy. You put in your email address, your zip code, and you're on there.
And I'm not sending you like the recipe of the week or issues like pictures of my weird lip right now and asking your advice about it. Like, we're just sending prayer requests out and things that everybody in the church needs to know. So.
And then last thing about communication, the podcast is now available a lot of different places. Not everybody knows this.
Streaming now on all platforms.
We will have it in the comments or the description. I don't remember what that's called, but the description of the video, we'll put all that in there. I did it last week, but it's like Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Pandora, Apple Music, Amazon Music, all these different places where if you just want to listen to it like on your commute or whatever.
Yeah, we know that you don't want to just sit here for 20 to 25 minutes and look at our beautiful faces. We get that. If you have time to do that, wonderful. If you just want to listen to the podcast as you're doing things, you have that option. So click on the streaming link below the video.
Yeah, or if you just go to your favorite place, it's called Ripple Effect Timberlake Christian Church. So you should be able to just search for it and find it easily.
Yeah. All right, cool. Can I take number 2? Or you want me to take 3?
You can take 2. I brought this in here so that we give the right information about number 2.
Great idea. So number 2 is a couple's night, dinner, and ballroom dancing lessons. Now, I'm super excited about this because I like dancing. Adam, how do you feel about dancing?
Yeah, I'm not that good at it.
No, okay, cool. Well, then this would have been perfect for you. So this is for married couples of any age. February 11th at 6 p.m. in the auditorium. It's $30 a couple, and this is why we're bringing it up, is the deadline to sign up and pay is February 7th, which is
Next Sunday.
next Sunday. So you gotta pay on the church website. You can sign up at the clipboard, or you can pay to Dawn, I'm sure.
That's actually a Tuesday.
Isn't it a Tuesday?
It's a
Yes.
Tuesday.
So next Sunday is
7th
the
is a-
last
could-
Sunday you can do it, but you have until Tuesday to do it
Tuesday is
online.
the 7th. Thank you for the correction. There's no childcare provided, so you have to figure that out. And formal attire, it says, is optional, but I think you should dress up. If you're going to come, we got to dress up. And it's going to be fun. It'll just be a night where we can enjoy each other. They're going to have some people there teaching us how to do some of these lesson dancing. So if you didn't know, you can do that. So that's February 11th at 6 p.m. And you got to sign up. Sunday is the last Sunday, but you have till the 7th to get all your information in. Okay. Last one. Core values of the Restoration Movement. We mentioned this on the last podcast. We didn't get it out as much as we wanted on Sunday, but it's a new class starting February 12th, and you can go to the Church Center app or onto the website and look at the groups that are available, and you can sign up for that group. It's going to be a great class. If you don't know the history of church or why we are where we are, or denominational splits, things like that, it's a great class to kind of look at the past, to see what's happened before, and to see why we are the way that we are
And
now.
it's going to be second service.
Second
during the
hour.
10:45.
Yeah. It's going to be during the 10:45 service time in classroom 404. We'd love for you to sign up because we've got some handouts and things for you, so we want to know how much to print. But I am excited about that class. The only thing I am not excited about is I don't get to attend it because I've got to do something during that time period, like preach. All right, so there's your top 3. Some connection stuff for you. Check the connections, church email, and if you want to just listen to this podcast, you can do that. The ballroom dancing and dinner deadline is the last chance to sign up on a Sunday is next Sunday, and then you'll have till Tuesday. And then the Core Values of the Restoration Movement class starts on the 12th of February. So make sure you go sign up for that. Okay, we're done with the top 3.
Okay, so the spotlight today, the reason we've asked Adam Chance to be here is he's interning, and you may have seen him walking around with the mobile camera. We're trying to get that going again. For those of you that join online, we've heard good reviews about multiple camera angles and things, because it makes you feel a little bit more like you are there in person when you're either not able to come or traveling or whatever, or if you just chose to worship online that week. Hopefully that helps make it a better experience. So
if you're in person and you see Adam walking around with a camera, don't be weirded out. It's for the rest of our congregation that doesn't get to be there.
So Adam will be graduating in May.
Yep. Should be, hopefully.
Yeah. We hope. I don't teach anymore at Central, so I know nothing about his grades or anything like that. So,
do you want to talk about your grades right here? No.
Adam has attended Timberlake for a while, right?
Yeah.
Have you come here all your years of college?
I say mostly
Most
last
of it?
fall.
Okay.
Is when I really started to.
Okay.
I mean, I went here and there
Right.
before then.
I knew I had seen you, but a lot of students just kind of come in and out, go wherever they want that week. But, last year asked about an internship, and so he'll be helping with a lot of things. Some of that will be like the Sunday morning stuff that we're doing. Some of it will be tech stuff. It'll be a little bit of leading. He's coming in obviously during the week and helping with anything, vacuuming vans and wiping them out like happened this week.
The grunt work.
But I mean, that's all ministry. I mean,
it needs to happen.
It's stuff we do. So I think that's an important part of it, seeing the behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff too. But Adam he sings, and he'll be helping lead at least 1 week. I'll let him plan it, help put together the team and all that. So you'll be seeing him not only behind the scenes, but some on stage.
So Adam, let's do a little introduction here. This is a drill that we used to do when we would meet new people. Okay, so you've got 15 seconds to tell us what you want us to know about you, right? So tell the world, tell whoever's listening to this podcast, you have 15 seconds. I'm going to time you, and just
Oh boy.
who is Adam Chance, and what do you want people to know about you? Okay, I'm gonna wait.
Okay.
Don't let me get it to a even number so I can do the math a little bit more
Math,
easily.
math's tough.
Okay, are you ready? Set, go.
Well, I love music, love worship ministry, basketball, Purdue fan.
Purdue.
Yes, Purdue
Yeah.
fan. My dad went
Ugh.
to Purdue, so
Ugh.
yeah. That's
5
why
seconds.
they're number one in the country, so it's fine.
Okay,
And,
5 seconds.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I mean,
That's it.
yeah, that's all I got really
All right.
for now.
So you love basketball.
Yes,
I
I
didn't know
love
that
basketball.
about you.
Yeah.
And you're
My
Purdue
favorite
fan.
sport. Yeah.
Purdue fan.
Not just because they're number one.
No, absolutely
Because
not. Yeah,
for
yeah.
years.
Yeah, you think they're good. No, they're not really. But I mean,
Okay.
number one for a reason, I guess. So, do you play instruments? Do you sing? What do you do?
Yeah, I play drums. Well, I need to get back into drums a little bit,
Okay.
and also took piano lessons last spring semester, so I do that too, and sing. So
That's awesome.
He's been up on stage singing 1 week, I
Yeah.
think,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
people may not remember it or may not have been here or not know who he was. I think I forgot to introduce you
Yeah.
when you were up there, so sure people
hey, that's
were.
fine with me.
Who's that weird
I
dude?
don't need that. I don't need that. So
That's awesome. Well, do you have an? You mentioned about working in the church. Is that like your goal after you graduate? What's kind of ahead for
Yeah.
you?
yeah, my goal is just to be a worship pastor / minister, whatever that is, because I know
Leader,
the jobs
extraordinaire.
the titles can get a little different and
Uh-huh.
interesting at whichever church you're at. So
Okay, cool. That's awesome. What's been as you're thinking about going into this ministry? What's been like a challenge that you didn't expect to be a challenge for you?
knowing how to coil up a wire.
Ah,
I can't do that.
We were doing that
I
yesterday.
can't do that.
And I told him, I'm like, this is a non-negotiable.
No.
You have
If
to
you're a
train
worship
your wires,
minister,
right?
You
You gotta train
have to know how to roll a
The
cord.
funny part
properly.
is, over the summer I worked at a camp, and I worked in the maintenance department,
Uh-huh.
and
Were you doing it like over your arm?
That's
a
he
no-no.
told me to coil up a hose,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, why would I ever need to learn how to coil anything?
And now
And
you.
then Brian yesterday said, this is mandatory, you have to know how to do this. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well, you're not going to ruin my cables here, I'll tell you that.
I thought you were gonna be like something all spiritual and something
No.
like, just trying to hear people's hearts. You're like, no, coiling a cable is the
Yeah.
worst.
It's just, I can't do it. I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome.
I haven't run into any of those other things yet. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we hope that we encourage you and that you can learn and grow here. And I know under Brian, you're going to learn a whole lot, and I think this internship will do well for you. So, anything else you want to say about Adam?
No, I think it's good.
All right. So if you see Adam around, encourage him. Let him know you're praying for him. Slip him a 20 or a 50 or a
No.
$500 bill if they still make those.
They do.
Just encourage this poor college student as he's no, but seriously, do encourage him and tell him he's doing a good job as you see him coiling wires around. Okay, let's end this podcast with the blessing of the week. This week, Brian's going to bring us the blessing of the week. Before you do, though, Brian, if you are not watching, just know that all of us are dressed in beautiful green.
Uh-huh.
For those of you who are watching, we wanted to give you just the different shades of green. We didn't do it in the spectrum. We didn't set up quite right, but it is beautiful green. Okay, Brian, take it away.
Well, I, on the spur of the moment, decided to go back to Mexico.
Not Missouri.
Not Missouri.
Mexico.
On the trip.
country.
And I know we've given a couple of announcements and stuff, but a lot of people may not know we're leaving Friday. There will be 8 people from here, including me, going to Mexico. It'll be a 20 plus hours if you don't stop. It turns into like a 24-hour trip because you have to stop some. But we don't stop to sleep. We, trade drivers and...
Tell them why we go to Mexico, though. For
Yeah,
those of you who don't know.
Yeah. So, in Mexico is a missionary that I don't really remember how many years this church has been supporting Fidel Mancinas.
Long time.
And there's 2 different churches that have been impacted by, at least 2, but two that I know of. The first time I went down there was to Seis de Enero, Mexico, which is a city name. That really confused me the first time. 6th of January. What are you talking about?
Your
But
Spanish
that's
is
the
amazing.
name of the town. It's 6th of January for
Mhm.
whatever reason. Must be an important date.
It better be.
Yeah. And now we go to a town, Nuevo Casas Grandes,
Mhm.
new big houses. So, and it is that is what it is. I mean, nice big houses. I would live in those houses. Nice places, but so we support him, and we really just help encourage. That's the first thing. Since I've had my knee surgery, I'm not gonna be able to do a lot of the. They're doing concrete work this time, but I'm gonna have to be good and kind of do some of the lighter weight stuff or whatever. I'm gonna get my teeth worked on, so that was kind of another.
Shh! Don't tell any of the
motivation to
dentists
go.
around here.
Yeah, I won't get into that anymore. But you can save some money if you do this medical dental tourism thing.
But Fidel has started those churches. He's been working in conjunction with this church. We've supported him for years. The last time he was here was probably 4 years ago, because I was still here when he came. And some of you might remember his singing and guitar playing. But what I most remember about him is his passion for Jesus and his passion for people. And I love that we have long-term relationships with our missionaries, and so that's where they're headed.
So I was thinking about. It's felt weird this year because I made the decision last minute. I mean, I've gone on a lot of trips. My wife and my family are awesome about just saying yes, even when it is inconvenient, stressful and stuff when I'm gone. I'm sure. But I was thinking about this verse from Galatians, and I pulled it up right before we started, where it says, "Take advantage of every opportunity to be a blessing to others," and especially it says to our brothers and sisters in the household of faith. And these our missions partners are a part of our household of faith. We may not even know a lot of them, but if you are here and a part of this church and you support this church, they're a part of our household of faith. Our family. I mean, obviously, all believers are part of our family in Christ, but there's something special about those that we're like connected to. We support them.
Yeah.
We're invested in their work, and it's awesome to go down and be with Fidel and his family. A lot of their extended family is a part of the mission there, and to worship with them, to encourage them, and a lot of what we talked about Sunday and a lot of what we're talking about this year is about taking advantage of every opportunity to be a blessing, and through that will come some opportunities to disciple people and to share our faith and to show Christ's love to them. So that's my blessing and encouragement, really all wrapped up in one, is to say yes this year to those opportunities that God puts in front of you.
Yeah, and sometimes those opportunities aren't convenient.
Yeah.
Blessing others isn't always easy. It's always a joy, and it always is worth it, but it's not always easy, and sometimes it can be inconvenient to have people in your home or to take time out of your schedule, or sometimes it costs you time and energy, sometimes money, but that's a good way to see, is to take advantage of every opportunity. That's really good. Well, thank you for sharing. All right, well, that is the end of episode 4 of the Ripple Effect podcast. We thank you for joining us. We hope that this week you will continue to think about the things that have been said on Sunday and in this podcast, that God would use you to encourage those around you in your pursuit of making disciples of Jesus. We love you. We hope you have a great rest of the week. We'll see you next week.